Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? And this is a video about mansplaining. So this is stupid things that feminists say, mansplaining. So if you're not familiar with the term, what mansplaining is, it's a special category that you only apply towards men when they try to explain something to you in an arrogant, fashion. So imagine that you had two people, right? And let's not say what their gender is. They're just two people in a room, and one of the people, I'm sorry, one of the people is trying to fix a computer, and the other person has no idea how computers are fixed, but saw a YouTube video on it one time, and is explaining to the guy actually doing the fixing, the person that actually knows what they're doing. Like, the person who isn't is explaining to him how to fix it in a very rude and condescending way. Like, no, stupid, you're supposed to do this and that, and you're supposed to install the, this and whatever, and screw that down, and so on. Right. Now, in the past, you would say that person A is just being a total arrogant dickhole. Right. But if person A happens to have a penis and person B happens to have a vagina, then you get to say that person A is mansplaining. And I just think the concept in and of itself, assigning a special category to a man who is being an arrogant dick to a woman is sexist in and of itself, right? Feminists use this, that from what I've seen, okay, I found like a lot of examples in my experiences online and such, where they use this idea, of mansplaining to basically just shut any man out of the conversation at all, about anything. They'll just, shut up, stop mansplaining, whatever, and it'll even be like when a guy goes on and he's like a feminist and he's in support of something that a feminist woman is saying, right? People will come on and say, shut up, stop mansplaining, and it's basically a way of just not shutting them out of the conversation and like a kind of a know your place kind of thing. It's like, shut up, know your place, you're not supposed to talk about these kinds of things. And I think that's fucking bullshit. It's basically, it's bigotry is what it is. It's saying that, okay, well, since you're a man and you have a penis, right, and then you are responsible for the activities, right, for the actions of every other man who's ever lived. So they'll say some shit like, well, mansplaining is, it's not sexist because, women can't be sexist towards men. Have you heard that kind of bullshit? Like, it's the same kind of power plus privilege equals, racism kind of thing. It's that societal power theory of racism. The same thing applies they apply the same thing towards sexism. They say, well, power plus privilege equals sexism. Right. And women, so that's thus because men have the power in society, women are allowed, women can't be sexist. And that's complete fucking horseshit, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, first off, and the same arguments apply when people say this kind of thing about racism. It's like, well, what does it mean to have power in society? What are you talking about? Like, is the president because the president's man? Is that what it is? Is it because the majority of senators are men? The majority of CEOs are men? Like, is that what power means, well, what if you work for a company, right, that has and your boss is female? Does that mean that she has the power, or does she still not have the power because of the greater society? What if your CEO of your company you work for is female, right, and you live in a state with a female governor, like Arizona or some shit, Jan Brewer or wherever the fuck she's from, something like that. And you have, two female senators, like California has two female senators, Dianne Feinstein and, well, until recently, I can't remember if Barbara Boxer is still in the Senate or not. She probably isn't. But, there was a time when California did have two female senators, like, I mean, what does that fucking mean? Like, when does it become that women have the power and men don't? Do they have to have 51% of the Senate? Do they have to have 51% of all the CEOships in the country? To do 51% of all the police officers have to be female? It doesn't make any sense. It's basically a way of, it's a way of keeping yourself eternally oppressed. Because you can always just move the goalposts and say, women, will never be in power because they have to be XYZ, and it's the product of lazy thinking, the same way that racism from the right is the product of lazy thinking. The same shit happens when it's racism and bigotry from the left, and sexism, I guess in this case, from the left, it's blaming you for the actions of other people, regardless of whether that's based on your skin color or your gender, or your gender identity, or, whatever, right? Your nationality, whatever. It could be anything. It's all the same, it's basically all the same fucking thing when you boil down to it. So I think basically just the idea of, I don't know, but getting back to mansplaining, I think it's just sexist bullshit. And it's, I find very little difference when you really break it down, right? I can't really see the difference between shit like that, shit like mansplaining and saying that, since you're a man, you don't have a right to have an opinion, okay? Or your opinion isn't worth it in this context, stuff like that. I see very little difference between that and the old style type bigotry and racism and sexism that you would see in 1950s America, right? In conclusion, mansplaining is sexist bullshit. It's the product of lazy thinking, and it's inherently sexist in itself. When you really think about it, when you really break it down, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny, right? And it's because it doesn't make any sense because it was made up by bigots, right? When you treat other people differently because of the actions of people that they're not associated with because they share a character trait, that's bigotry, right? And that's what fucking mansplaining is. Adios, folks.